Been missing in action because it's been my birthday and we went out for the day, had a lovely day in Southwold, and various other bits and pieces visiting family. But I'm back and I want to scrap this large photograph of my son and his fiancée taken at the venue for their wedding. They're going to get married this August. This is their engagement photo shoot. I picked out these papers, which are Kaisercraft ones, and it's the Rose Avenue collection. Can perhaps use all of those bits and maybe some of that white. These are their collectibles, and I've taken out some of the embellishments from there, and also some previously punched out butterflies. And I might punch out some more butterflies, and I might use my circle punches. I've also got these pearls, which from Love to Craft, and also this Prima Satin pearls, which I've had for a long time. And I picked out a couple of doilies I thought I might use, and just some other bits and pieces, including that word beautiful. A couple of frames, half a frame, and a little word piece. I chose my title and I painted the letters with my black Posca paint pen because they were white. So here we are, moving on to doing the layout now. Now I struggle with this. I knew I wanted a strip of paper down the side, but the piece of paper, the 12 by 12 piece I'm using, has got holes punched in it. But I wanted a bit of an edge around the paper. So swapped it over, you can see the holes at the top there. So I got a piece of white card and thought, yes, perhaps I can do it that way. Still didn't quite like it. So cut the pattern paper down, which gave me a strip so I could actually make a false edge to it. So there I am, sticking the false edge down onto the white cardstock, which means I can then put the other piece of paper over the top, and I do get a border round that piece of paper. Now I apologise now, when I come to do all the clusters I'm out of shot at the top of the page, so I've cut that bit out of the video so you don't actually sit here watching me doing nothing, and I'll make sure that it's in frame next time I do a video. So sticking the photograph down now, I print these at home on my Canon printer. As you can see, I've got a little border around that photo, which is just what I wanted. Moved the position of the journal card. I decided I wanted everything over on the left rather than over on the right. And now I'm just trying out all the bits and pieces that I've got, trying to decide where to put them, whether I want them or not. That Love, Live, Laugh strip is the border strip off one of the papers. I thought I might put it along the bottom there. I am trying bits up at the top here, which you can't see, sorry about that. But we'll move on in a minute. Didn't use all the bits that I picked out, but stuck to the greens and the blues, as there's blue in Amy's dress, and obviously there's lots of greenery around there with the grass and everything. They're actually getting married at Hengrave Hall, which is near Bury St Edmunds. It's an absolutely beautiful building. Should have got married August last year, should have had their engagement photo shoot last year, but it was all delayed. Now I'm sticking my title down. These ones were sort of cloth thickers, which I painted, and they were absolutely fine. I went to use the other ones and they were plastic thickers, and as I rubbed them down, the paint just came off on my fingers. So I decided I'd have to choose a different word because I didn't have enough letters and paint it. So these are chipboard thickers, which I then painted with my Posca paint pen. So instead of beautiful engagement shoot, the title is now beautiful photo shoot, and I'll stick the word photo down a little bit later once it's all dried. Decided I'd use this white doily, cut it in half to use half on the side here, as most of it would be hidden. And then these little window frames, I'd stuck the doily down too low, but I was fortunate it didn't rip when I tried to move it. Stuck the window frames down over that, making a nice big cluster here of all the embellishments. I wanted to make sure that when I put that little card in, you could still read the word that says little things. This flower I popped up onto some foam pads to give it a little bit of dimension. And then I had a couple of these circle embellishments, which I also wanted to include. I think I popped one of those up on foam pads as well. Yep, there we go, popping that one up onto foam pads. But the blue one I just stick down flat. I'll give a bit more dimension a bit later on with the pearls. So sticking that flower down, and then that other circle embellishment. Now I move up onto the top one, so I've zoomed you past that. Moving the butterflies in. Decided I wanted a bit of glitter because I've used that bit of glitter frame up at the top, so I punched out some glitter butterflies to use, and then decided to, before I stuck down the butterflies, put in these pearls. So what I did with these, although they're all joined together, I've actually trimmed them into little sections and then dotted them around the page in 3 different areas. So I did some in the bottom left, I've put a couple up on the top left, which you'll see at the end, and I also do one underneath the title. And you can see the right corner of where I've got the title. I've got part of that gold glitter frame and the other part of that is up at the top left. So it's almost like a photo corner where I've used that. You can see a bit of the top embellishment cluster now. Obviously not the whole thing. I should have checked before I videoed. It was very hot in the conservatory and I was just getting on and doing it. Wanted to put a bit more embellishment up here though. I felt it needed something below this little embellishment cluster and on top of the photograph. So I tried lots of things and decided to go with the Live, Laugh, Love. Cut it. It wasn't, I can't cut straight. It wasn't level. Tried to use my trimmer and it wasn't working. Then I put it there and it was too short anyway. So I chose the other part of it and just went with it, even though it was slightly wobbly. You can't see it from a distance. I can't cut straight, but you can't see that that's very slightly wobbly. Then I wanted to put this little bit just under those words there, and that is exactly how I wanted it to look. It was just right, just balanced it up. And getting more of those pearls and tucking them up there. They're very subtle, but they look lovely. I'm really pleased with how this layout turned out. And then this was the last bit of the embellishment that was left, and it just fitted in nicely underneath the word shoot there. So back to the butterflies. They weren't quite right. I wasn't quite happy with them, so I stuck down the gold glitter butterflies. I punched out quite a few of them. Went back and did some more. It's a Martha Stewart punch that I bought way back when I first started scrapbooking because Chanel had one. And I loved it, and everything when I first started scrapbooking had butterflies on. But I felt that this layout was suitable for butterflies. These butterflies, as I say, I'd used this triple punch, EK Success Punch, and you can build up the butterfly layers. So I decided if I put a solid butterfly behind them, it would look a lot better. So I punched out 3 to go with the 3 that I've got, and then just built them up a bit. And it just lifts them off the page a little bit, gives them a little bit more body, and you can see them a lot better on the layout. That punch though is a pain. I ended up having to put the paper on the floor and stomp on the punch in order for it to cut through. It's the world's worst punch, but when it does punch, it punches cleanly, but I do have to stamp on it to get it to work. Okay, so popping down those butterflies, and then I put down the word photo. Yes, I put down the word poto. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but we'll carry on because I don't notice it. I don't notice it at all, but never mind, carry on. So I looked at the other branding strips that had words on and thought perhaps that I could use that along the bottom, but it wasn't right. I tried it out along the top, looked at all the different words that they had. I liked all of them, and I could have used all of them, except that they didn't seem right. I was definitely going to put that one there and then change my mind. So I thought, right, let's just have a look through the embellishment pack, see if there's anything else I can use. I wanted something else in this bottom cluster, but everything was pink. So I decided I'd go with a heart and use the green paper which I used for backing the butterfly and punch out some hearts to fill up that little area that needed it there. Roughed up the edges of the hearts just to give them a little bit more substance, and as I was putting a couple of hearts down the bottom, I decided I'd do them. You can see, I've just realised you can see the top cluster now. So I punched out, I think, 4 hearts altogether, and I did 3 on that bottom cluster, and then I just tucked one up in the top cluster, so you've got some of that green carrying through there. There we are. I'm just roughing up the edges of another of the hearts before sticking it into the... Well, I was going to put it there, then realised you couldn't read the word little things. Trimming off the bits that hung over the edge, and there we go. So now writing my journaling, just saying that this was their engagement photo shoot that was delayed by over a year because of the dreaded C word, and popping on the date. I then took the layout up to my husband and said, really pleased with this layout, just videoed it. And he said, yes, but isn't photo spelled P-H-O-T-O, not P-O-H-T-O? So I was really lucky, and the letters came off absolutely fine and didn't mark the paper. I had to scratch a little bit and I thought I was going to make a hole in the paper, but in fact it came off cleanly in the end, and so I was able to rectify that. So it's a beautiful photo shoot, not a beautiful poto shoot. So there we go, all done. Here are some close-ups at the end. I will also be putting photos on Instagram. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon.